This is the Mulligan Stew Podcast. I'm Terry David Mulligan. Thanks for listening. Thank you for signing up and subscribing. We're approaching episode 300, working on a special guest for that show. But 300 shows, that's pretty good. Every once in a while we get to the point where we're deciding what is the podcast for the week, because there's lots of choices. In this case, we have two. And they're there for a reason. They're sharing the podcast for a reason. The first one is Roger Costa, who is the co-administrator and the archivist for the Estate of Jeff Healey. Jeff Healey, great guitarist, singer, songwriter, artist, a true guitar star, lost his battle to cancer March the 2nd, 2008. And because March the 2nd rolled around, and because I knew Roger was working on a documentary called See the Light, the Jeff Healey Story, and I thought, let's just get some comments from a friend of Jeff Healey, someone who's watching over his legacy. We're going to talk about Jeff Healey, the documentary, how he and the family of Jeff Healey celebrate and remember on March the 2nd. When the documentary starts to take shape, we'll go back to Roger Costa and have a long discussion about who's in it and why. So, Roger Costa's first. The second is a good friend, Harry Hertscheg, who's the executive director of the Vancouver International Wine Festival. It's hugely popular, 18 to 25,000 people a year over the course of a week, 2 weekends. I talked to Harry in advance of the festival, which is just wrapping up Saturday night. The feature country was Italy, but Harry announced in the interviews that we're going to be publishing next week that the USA is the next feature country. That would be year 46 of the Vancouver International Wine Festival. So Harry Hertscheg, who listens to the podcast on his bike and earphones as he's barreling through Vancouver on his way to and from work. So Harry, if you're out there, be careful. Make your hand signals correctly and share the lane. So Harry Hertscheg. By the way, the Tasting Room radio show, which is part of our mini empire, we did 21 interviews in 2.5 hours at the convention floor, and half of them are from Italy, the rest are from around the world, and those shows will run on Tasting Room Radio for the next 2-3 weeks. It's going to be fun. So enjoy this. We start with Roger Costa, remembering Jeff Healey, and Harry Hertscheg talking about the last couple of days and what it's been like at the Vancouver International Wine Festival. Enjoy. At the beginning of the show, I told you that there were no interviews, but there is going to be an interview. It's right now. It just so happens that March the 2nd, 2008, that it was the day that we lost Jeff Healey to cancer. He lost his battle. And I wanted to talk to Roger Costa, who's the co-administrator and the archivist of the Estate of Jeff Healey. Are you back in Toronto?
Yes, I am.
I guess you wouldn't forget that March the 2nd was a very special day, would you?
No, it was a very, very difficult day. Although Jeff was born with retinoblastoma, which is a cancer that affects the retina, and it cost him his sight by the age of 1. He was actually cancer-free for most of his life.
There you go.
It was only in the last 3 years that he was fighting a different cancer, which was sarcoma. Now, having the retinoblastoma did actually make him more susceptible to other cancers later in life. So there is a connection there, but he was cancer-free for most of his life. The day that Jeff passed, I mean, he had been in and out of the hospital to remove tumors over the 3 years prior. And it was always just a matter of routine. Even when it had spread to his lungs, and he had to have surgery to have, spots scraped off his lungs. He was up and around in days, and it was just, astounding to most of us, but it was just, it just seemed par for the course. Anything that gets thrown at him, he can beat. So the day that he passed was really, it was not unexpected, but also unexpected, if that makes any sense at all.
You have spent the last year, 2 years, frankly, I guess, prepping the idea and getting ready to produce a documentary on the life of Jeff Healey. And you're not done yet, I'm sure. Where has the journey taken you?
Well, aside from all over where we call home, which is Toronto, and Ontario. We actually spent a good chunk of January of this year in Los Angeles and Nashville and Vancouver and at your doorstep in Victoria and all points in between. It's been a hell of a journey.
Were you talking specifically to people who had played with him?
Played with or had a personal connection with. We're trying to avoid people who were simply, admirers who had no passing relationship at all with Jeff. It would be very easy to fill up, hours of film with people talking about how great they thought Jeff was, just by, seeing him play live, and even with, many, even amongst the bigger names in the business. But we really wanted to sort of touch on people's relationships with him, and the fact that he touched so many lives in the short time that he was on this planet.
How long do you think it's going to take to tell this story? When might we see it?
Well, right now we're hoping to have it ready for the end of the fall
Nice.
of this year.
Good.
It may very well slide into early next year. There's still a lot of work to do, and we are in the nice problem to have situation where we have so much great material on film, to say nothing of all of the media clips over the years that different shows and things that Jeff participated in that we have to choose from as well. So there's an embarrassment of riches, and the big work is going to be paring it down and picking and choosing the gold for the actual documentary, and then figuring out what we can use, for the extras, as it were, nowadays online and stuff.
Hey, Roger, do you want to reveal a couple of the names of people you've talked to?
Sure. Terry David Mulligan. But yes, also, we the very first interview we did was with Slash. We had a lovely sit down with Stax legend Mr. Steve Cropper. Some on the Canadian side, we had a sit down with Randy Bachman and Broughton Cummings in two different provinces. So, and many, many more. We've got about 24 interviews right now in the can, from everyone ranging to people that he performed with or recorded with, to people, lifelong friends. So it's going to be pretty in-depth. We want to basically use the interviews with people to push the narrative along and tell his story without really, relying on too heavily on narration and that sort of thing. We just want the story to be told through Jeff's own voice and through the voice of people who knew him.
Okay, have you got a working title?
It's called See the Light, the
Okay.
Jeff Healey Story.
There you go. How will you celebrate today, March the 2nd?
It'll be a quiet day. We have a tendency every year we will pop by the Jeff's gravesite and just pay our respects and tidy up a little bit, see what little trinkets and things that fans have left behind over the last while, and then we'll just go out and reminisce, basically.
But the one thing I miss most of all are his one-liners, because he had one-liners for everybody, for every situation. It was his way of dealing with life itself, and he was a funny guy. We'll look forward to See the Light, the documentary, and I'll play you a tune.
Thanks for having me on, Terry.
This is the Mulligan Stew Podcast. He's Harry Hertscheg, still Harry Hertscheg, the executive director of the Vancouver Wine Festival, year 45. Starts February 24, goes till March the 3, 8 days. I'm going to bring up my list, Harry, of attending wineries, and starting with Italy, of course.
71. I know, it's ridiculous. As Filippo Bartolotta, our keynote speaker, says, it's bonkers.
Yeah. I tell you what, you cannot, if you just concentrate on Italy, you can forget the rest of the room, because there's more than enough to taste with Italy, or you can come back several times. However, as I scroll down, I see Argentina's coming. Australia is coming back, Rathbone Group. Canada, nice little, how many Canadian wineries?
29.
29.
That's a pretty big contingent.
I see that because I'm here in the Cowichan Valley, I see that Unsworth is coming. I see that Blue Grouse is attending. Church and State. There's lots of scope here. Fort Barron's up in Lytton Country. There's something for everyone, right?
Yeah, something we're doing a little bit, not quite new. We are going to do an Italian tasting station. So we do have we have 149 wineries, and then there's some regions, countries will do an extra tasting station. New Zealand tasting station. We'll have two, not one, two non-alcoholic wine stations, so people can explore the whole zero alc thing. California's going to have a massive tasting station, and then we're going to have our own Italy tasting station and also a sparkling station. But what's exciting about this Italian station, we're going to be training a whole bunch of sommeliers, and because Italy is so complicated, we're going to have essentially reference information at the tasting station. So if people are looking for a Barolo or a wine from Umbria, or where you can go to the info booth and we will help you, direct you to the table where you can get that wine, because Italy is so complex. That's why we use the term discover Italy. You think, discover Italy? I kind of know Italy. Really? You think you know Italy? This is part of Filippo's point. It is so complex, and we're going to have a group of people. So rather than just tasting randomly, we have an app, we have a tasting program, and we will have specialists there helping you find your 12 Barolos you want to taste.
Here's how this is why, Harry, that we always recommend that people just do a little bit of homework. It's going to help you. Italian wineries are featured in 22 events, 12 dinners. The Bacchanalia Gala, which is in fact going to have as its gala chair Professor Howard Soon.
Legendary.
Yep. And he, if they give him a microphone, he will entertain.
He will be given a microphone. It's a new thing we're doing with the gala. Last year was our inaugural honorary chair, Anthony von Mandel, and he gave a really inspiring speech. And so this is a great chance. Howard, he's one of the ultimate personalities in BC wine.
When you look back at the history of the Okanagan, it's Howard Soon and his box of rocks. The Pinot Grigio wine mingler is in this. 2 boardroom tastings, a public seminar, 2 trade tasting seminars, the festival toast, the awards lunch, La Dolce Vita, and something called a partridge in a pear tree. The Italians are well looked after.
I really highly recommend the La Dolce Vita Saturday lunch. All 71 wineries will be pouring wine. So there'll be 71 Italian wines from 71 wineries. On the 3rd floor of the convention center, with an incredible view of Cole Harbor, the North Shore Mountains, Italian-inspired West Coast Italian cuisine, music, the full. I was going to say enchilada, but that's Mexican.
That's nice. I'm just looking here at Dana's events. Thank you very much for talking about Jean Bertrand and what she's doing with them. She's really looking forward to that. Other seminars, the Global Crew and the Shape of Wine. Tell me about the Shape of Wine.
That's where you get to taste wines in Riedel glassware. So it is, I think speakers can make a difference, to music. If you have a good sound system and good speakers, the music will sound better. If you have good glassware with the right wines, you don't have to have a different glass for everyone. But, I do have a few different glasses. It's fun. You can basically add value to your wine by having the right glass. And so that's on the Thursday at Terminal City Club. And you get to bring the glassware home with you. It's a magic. Everyone should go through the Riedel glassware seminar at least once in their life.
And what's their phrase they've used for years and years and years? Something about the wine is something in the glass is the delivery system. It's a nice.
Yeah, that's why I use the term like speakers. Speakers are the delivery system of music.
I was doing my list there: Argentina, Australia, Canada, Chile, Croatia, France, Greece, Japan, sake. New Zealand, Spain, and the United States are coming through big time and doing their own functions as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got a great event on Wednesday evening, California Wine Sunfest, and that's at the Pipe Shop in North.
Nice, of
course.
Well, that's where they did it last year. Yes.
Yeah, it's a great venue. So this is a great chance for people on the North Shore to enjoy the wine festival. And they're also doing a seminar with DJ Kearney on the Friday, Golden State Vineyard Visions. And it's going to be a tough choice because that's side by side with Challenge of the Red Titans, which is Filippo Bartolotta and Neil McLennan.
I saw that
teaming up.
I saw that. You give Neil a microphone, and that's the Italian Reds one against the other. Yes.
Yeah, for the trade events, Filippo's going to be focusing a lot on the lightness of being on the growing trend of white wines. But for a consumer event, what we find is bring out the big guns. The Amarones, the Barolos, the Brunellos, and so it's going to be just a wicked lineup.
What's a global crew?
We've done that now for 6 or 7 years in a row, and what it is the agents have really responded well to this event, and it features wines from a place, the idea of a crew, of single vineyard. So to qualify for this event, you don't have to have an expensive wine, but it needs to be a wine that really speaks to the place, terroir. And, regardless of all the things we hear in the news about so-and-so people not drinking or drinking less or changing and everything, there's a lot of challenges, and a lot of that has to do with branding. But wine has been around for thousands of years. And one of the things that is so special about it is regardless what you put on the label and what you do, these grapes come from a specific place with specific characteristics of soil and climate. And that is infinitely fascinating, regardless whether you drink the beverage or not, or what your preferences are. And so that what this seminar is trying to get at the heart of what's in the bottle isn't just the name of the grape. It's from where it comes from. And one of the important aspects of terroir isn't just the weather and the soil. It's the people and the culture that have been tilling those soils for generations.
I was just looking at your sheet on facts and numbers, which you love, of course. Looking at the ages, you've done some very interesting numbers on demographics. 19 to 24, just getting started. However, you looked up to the top end, 45 to 54, 55 to 64, there's 24 and 21%, 65 plus, 9%, men 48, women 52. Does that surprise you?
No, guys like to talk a lot about wine, but women are more practical. They don't think they know everything. Like, there's probably a few guys don't come to the wine fest. Yeah, I've been there, done that. I know everything about wine. And also women probably more likely to go as a group, a little more social. Guys are a little more intimidated. They think they have to know everything before they come to the wine festival. Women just come and go, let's just enjoy ourselves. I don't want to make these broad generalizations, but it doesn't surprise me that more women than men come to that. And that's it's really one of the things you just highlight is it's a mix of people.
Yep.
Like, you look at our demographics, it's basically equal, young, middle, old, like everyone's welcome. It's people of all ages are coming to the wine fest. Everyone's welcome.
Remind me to talk about your hotel partners in just a second. But geographics, 82% of the people attending have been, over the years, from Metro Vancouver, 10% other BC, 6% other Canada, 2% internationally. That's a great bunch of numbers, 82% from Metro Vancouver. Because there's lots of choices in Vancouver, as you know, lots of choices. But you become the choice during this period.
Yeah, we want to, whether you're from Metro Vancouver, Fraser Valley, the Okanagan, we get a lot of people coming now from Vancouver Island and coastal communities. And we're doing a lot of our marketing outside of Metro Vancouver because we want to help our hotel industry. We want to help our downtown restaurants. And that's why we have with StayVancouverHotels.com, we have that deal. When you book a hotel room, doesn't matter where you're from, book a hotel room, you get a complimentary International Festival tasting ticket. I mean, why have to worry about driving home? I mean, imagine stay in a hotel, go to the downtown restaurants, make an item. That's what people do when the Rolling Stones comes to town, right? I mean, don't just make it a 3-hour event. Make it a whole weekend. And then when you're tasting the 700 different wines in the tasting room from the 149 wineries, every single one of those wines is available on the on-site liquor store. And you don't even have to carry them home. they will deliver it at no charge. BC Liquor will deliver any wines you buy to your local liquor store anywhere in British Columbia. That service doesn't exist anywhere else in the world.
It's the first thing I want to do. As soon as I look in, I look to the right. I look to the right. I look to where that store is and try to figure out where I'm going to start. What color? Red, white, rosé, whatever. I'm going to go there. I'm
going to give Sandra Oldfield some credit. She got a great tip. She says the first thing she does when she goes in the taste room, she goes straight to the on-site liquor store and just looks at the labels. Rather than a list of available winery wines, she sees the labels, she sees the brands, and a lot of things trigger in her mind. Oh, I need to taste that. I need to buy that. And don't wait till the end to buy the wines. Buy them early. Take advantage of the StayVancouverHotels.com offer. Enjoy yourself.
By the way, I don't see anything here on the. There's no numbers here for your biking community. How many people do you think show up on bikes?
Other than me? Yeah, it's a safe way to go, right?
You do want to plan your trip and your journey because this is an engaging a visit to the Vancouver Wine Festival. Any other numbers you want to pass by? Go.
I got one really here, and this one I'm going to drag out because it surprises a lot of people. Because some people get jaded over time. Yeah, I've been there, done that, But here's an interesting statistic that is constant year after year at the Wine Festival, including this year. A quarter of the wineries at this year's festival, just like any other year, are new to the festival. They've never, ever come to the Vancouver International Wine Festival. You're trying to discover new wines. A quarter of the wineries have never been to the Wine Festival.
Nice.
The other stat is just almost more mind-boggling. 3/4 of the wines that are poured in the tasting room, 3/4 of the wines available on the on-site BCL store are unlisted new products to the market or spec listings. They're not general listings. Sometimes people go, "Oh, is this wine regularly available?" No, it's not. Your one chance to buy that wine,
exactly,
unless a restaurateur, a wine director, or a private store retailer picks up that particular SKU, you may not see that wine again. 3/4 of the wines are new to the market.
How do people get more info besides what you've already given us?
VanWineFest.ca, usual social media outlets. Word of mouth. Talk about the Wine Festival with your friends and family. I know not everybody wants to go. And you know what? My tip. Get a super pass, and then you can go to all 6 sessions. You can hang out with the trade on Thursday, Friday afternoon. We cap the capacity on Thursday night, 30% less than the other nights. And so, Thursday night's a great night to go by yourself and really interact with the winery principals when they haven't lost their voice yet. Friday is a little more of a downtown crowd. I love the Saturday afternoon. Here's an interesting stat. The Saturday afternoon attendees buy the most wine on the on-site store. They are the shopping crowd.
We haven't touched on the closer.
And then there's Saturday night.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much people are wearing white and it's a bit of a party. It's okay. It's Saturday night, but it's not. Saturday night's not like Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. But a super pass gives you a sense of you don't have to tackle it all at once. That's what I would do, of course.
Give them the website again, please, Harry.
VanWineFest.ca.
Congratulations on almost kicking off the 45th Van Wine Festival. It's wonderful.
Get a plan together.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Great to see you.